Hello and welcome to the Tower Defense Game Tutorial series here on HyperCube Games. This is episode number 7, and today we're going to be working on having the turret have some leveling up. We're going to be leveling up the turret using a key on our keyboard, and when we press it while selecting that turret, we're going to be upgrading the turret so it does more damage. There we go. And at the same time, or not at the same time, but after that, we're going to be making the enemy have some health, so we don't instantly kill it at the touch of the bullet no matter what. So let's go ahead and jump into that. But before we do, we're also going to be doing some tweaks with just the game logic and just a bit of fixing some of the errors that we get in the console that can be just a bit annoying as we play. Alright, so let's jump right into it, and here we go. So first off, I created a turret level script off camera. It was actually a really simple script. I thought it was too simple to go over in an entire episode. I thought it's too simple. Let's just show them after it's already completed. I'm just going to go over it anyway, though. So here we go. For the first variable, we're going to have two variables: the level and and whether or not we have actually selected. The selecting is all handled down here. When you put your mouse down on the object, selected becomes true. And when you leave your mouse from that object, selected is set to false. With colliders, of course, which we're going to be adding in just a bit. And in the start function, we're setting level to equal 1 right at the beginning of the game, and selected is equal to false. And in the update function, we're going to be testing whether or not selected is equal to true, whether or not we have to select the object, and whether or not we press the key U on our keyboard, U for upgrade, level increases by 1, which is what level plus plus does. So there we go. That is our turret level script. Alrighty, so now we're going to be doing is adding a nice collider to our turret here. So let's go ahead and add, it's already set for me here. We're going to be adding a box collider. Be sure it's triggered so it doesn't interfere with anything else. Its size is going to be of 2 on the x-axis, 3 on the y, and 2 on the z. So, or z, however you want to call it. So it's just about this size, which seems perfectly fine for what we're trying to do here. It may go a bit over on the below, under the actual tile itself, but it's all up to you, however you want to set it, just as long as it's the size of the tile and it fits around the turret itself. Alright, so now that we have that box collider beautifully set up, let's go ahead and make it so the bullet increases the damage as we go here, as the level increases. So we're going to be working with the attack script, which is the script that makes it so that the bullet actually moves towards the object. And we're going to be creating a new variable. This variable is going to be called damage, and it's going to be of type float. And in the update function, we're going to be putting in a new line here. It's going to be setting damage equal to a pretty long line of code here. So it's going to be setting damage to equal game object dot transform dot parent dot transform dot parent. Now, I'm going to stop right here before I continue, and just to explain a bit of what's going on here. Now, we all know that the way I made the bullets work in Turret Shoot here is I made it so that when they spawn in, they're going to be a child of our range here. Don't worry about that error there. We're going to fix that in just a minute. You can see here that range, in range, all of our bullets are spawning within this little object here. So in order to actually reach the turret level and access it, we're going to have to jump from our parent all the way up to its second parent, the parent of the parent, which is turret, which has our turret level script which we want to access. And now you may be wondering, why am I not using static variables? The reason why is because we're going to have multiple turrets around the map, and considering that we don't want them all to have the same level, even though you haven't paid for each one to have level. And there we go. Alright, so I'm going to continue doing this. So we're going to be accessing the parent of the parent, which is going to be the turret. And we're going to be doing a get component thing here. Get component, and this component is going to be the component specific of turret level, which is what we're trying to access here. And yes, we're going to be add that next little thing there. Hold on, I'm messing up here. Hold up. Oh, there we go. So we're having turret level, and this specific thing that we're trying to access is level. And there we go. And multiplied by 2 though. So I know it's a kind of a weird thing that every single level, as you increase it, the amount of damage you do multiplies by 2 every single time. So if you are level, for example, 5, your damage is going to be 10. So I know it's a really weird increase, but it's more or less just a test to see if it actually works. We might be modifying this in future episodes. Alright, so now that we have that going, and this should be working in theory, let's go ahead and go into the enemy health and modify this script as well, because it seems like we're always going to be insta-killing no matter what the damage is on that bullet. So let's go ahead and add a few new variables. These variables are going to be cur health, or current health, however you want to call it. It's going to be of type, or instead of current health, to make it easier on us, we're going to put cur HP, which is also health points, is also health, same thing. So it's going to be of type float, and same for, we're going to have another variable called max HP, which is going to be of type float as well. So at the start of the game, we're going to make it so that the cur HP, your current health is going to be equal to your maximum health. So there we go, just to put that there. And finally, we're going to make it so that if your current health is, we're going to have that in a statement. In our update function, we're going to make set test. In our update function, we're going to be testing if current HP is going to be less than or equal to nothing. At which point we're going to make it so that it actually destroys the game object, much like it does when it hits it right here. But instead of that, we're going to get rid of it. We're going to make it so that we're going to be accessing another get component statement here, where we access the damage variable from the attack script in the bullet. Let's go ahead and do that. So we're going to go info.get component, and this specific component is going to be attack and dot damage. And yeah, so we're going to be accessing that, but instead of just simply accessing it, we're going to grab our current health. Forgot to add this, but we're going to have the current health subtracted by that. And there we go. And so now we're actually going to go to the enemy prefab here. You can see that we have current and max HP. We're going to set the max HP to equal to 4. And considering how we scripted this, since the level of our turret is always equal to, the damage of the bullet is always equal to 2 times the turret. 1, which is our starting level, multiplied by 2 is always equal to 2. And therefore, at the beginning of the game, when we click on the attack script in one of the bullets that fly, we should be able to see that it does 2 damage, and it takes, considering we made it 4 over here, it's going to take 2 hits in order to kill an enemy now. So let's go ahead and see that. So before it actually hits anything, we're going to just test it out. So you can see here that its damage is set to 2 when accessing that level. And now, you can see it doesn't die instantly. It takes 1, 2 hits to kill, 1, and 2 hits to kill. So there we go. That is the damage nice and set up. We can actually make it so it does insta-kill. If we click on the actual object, we can see here, if we go and click on turret level, we can press U on our little object thing here, and you can see that it instant killed that one just before. As you can see, the level increased. Let me show you that again. You can see now that if we click on it, you'll see selected is equal to true over here, and if you press U, it's now level 2. It is now an insta-kill, considering it does 2 multiplied by 2 damage, which is 4. And 4 is the amount of health that the enemy actually has, which makes an insta-kill happen. Alright, so there we go. That is the beautiful setup of allowing us to actually make it so that we don't insta-kill the enemy. So you can see here that we have a few errors, not really a few, but lots of errors piling up our console, and this is because of a thing that's happening within the attack script, which is specifically, it's still testing for whether or not there is a target, but there isn't a target after the object is dead, so it still thinks it's there even though it's not. So what we're going to be doing is adding a new if statement right here just before it starts, which tests whether or not target is not null. So if there is something within the target, at that point, start moving our object. And if it is null, destroy it, which is all up here. So actually, I think we can actually reformat this. Instead of having 2 different variables that test whether or not it isn't null and is null, not variables with 2 different if statements, we can actually add an else statement right here, which can actually just destroy the game object right here. instead of having to have two different if statements, we can have an if-else. We can have an if statement and an else statement together, which can clean up our code quite nicely here. Let's put that else statement down there. So there we go. That's about it. So let's go ahead and close that. See, all our errors will disappear because that's what happens when you reload, when you make a edit to a script. It should clean up. And now when we press the play button, you'll be able to see here that they shoot, but yet there is no errors in the console that we would usually see. So there we go. Looks great. As you can see, the objects, there are two of them that still remain nice and healthy, have half of their health taken away, but they're still going to be able to make it to the end point. Alright, so once again, thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe for more tower defense game tutorials. And in the next episode, we're going to be working on actually making it so that we have some graphics changing up whenever we increase the level. We're going to actually have a max level for the turrets to be level 3. And we're going to be fixing a few more bugs, making the shooter here change color as you increase level. And we're going to be adding a graphic to the, the enemies. There we go. We're going to be adding a health bar to the enemies itself to actually make it so that you can see the amount of health that the enemies have before they die or before they leave to get your base. Alright, so thank you so much for watching again, and yeah, so have a great day, and I will see you in the next episode.